I'm back.
Bluntly.
Down on the ground.
One is you need to do everything local, even if you think globally. It means that you don't have to have a networked strategy.
Bluntly and bluntly.
Growth be considered as a panacea concerning development.
Economic growth in the Congo is on the paper, but it's not the reality.
There's evidence, especially among students, before graduating, you can see.
It may be strong, but people who are dealing with this situation, this is the problem. Or white people are not.
Bluntly, oui, Vanessa Yombrania.
From time immemorial, nobody has eaten omelette without bringing eggs. That's why we must polish up economic strategies in order to skyrocket. Do you have any ideas about economic development and welfare? Join us in this program. Bluntly, and bluntly. Everything is under control. Keep in touch.
Bluntly and bluntly.
Bluntly is well done.
Bluntly is very nice. In DRC, bluntly is an obligation. Bluntly is exciting. Bluntly is my passion.
Wherever you are, work bluntly.
Bluntly with Anissa Yomorania.
Sing to bluntly. English is the reality in DRC.
Bluntly, and bluntly. Everything is under control.
Hello everybody, welcome to the program. Bluntly and bluntly. Everything is under control. Everything is definitely under control in this program. As you can see, today's Bluntly is going to be mesmerizing with a particular emphasis on something absolutely vital. The sacred union of the nation, you know, initiated by the president, Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Chilombo in the Democratic Republic of Congo in order to move the country forward. But first and foremost, we would like to scrutinize the bilateral relationship between the Democratic Republic of Congo and the United States of America. No, that's something good. That's why, without further delay, right here and right now, I would like to introduce my special guest to you, Mike Hame.
Hi!
The American ambassador in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Good,
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here on Bluntly.
Bluntly.
I love the name.
Yeah. Are you willing to speak bluntly?
Of course. That's what diplomats do, right?
Yes. And,
well, that's what I do.
My first question is very simple. Since you have been in the Democratic Republic of Congo, how long have you been here?
I arrived in October of 2018, so almost 2.5 years. Yeah. It's gone by quick, and it's been an incredible period.
Do you feel happy in the Democratic Republic of
Absolutely.
Congo?
Absolutely. Yes. I feel we're going through a historic moment, peaceful transfer of power, the first one back in January of 2019. And then real change is starting to happen, an opportunity for the Congolese and for Congo to realize its potential. You'll have a rich nation, huge mineral reserves, incredible agriculture potential, energy. You've got the Congo River right behind me that can provide hydro, probably power Africa. An incredibly dynamic Congolese people who are resourceful, entrepreneurial, smart. They know how to do business. They know how to do well. We just need to unleash that potential, get rid of corruption, and go forward.
Yes, but the Democratic Republic of Congo is a country which is endowed with countless mineral resources. Everything has been given to this country, but apparently the country is not moving forward. We like stagnating halfway or standing back.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a question of good governance and justice and having strong institutions. And at least now I see that you have a leader in President Tshisekedi who has outlined a vision where he wants to fight corruption, he wants to improve human rights, he wants to promote economic opportunity, he wants to bring security to the East in particular. He wants what's right for his country, and that's what the United States is supporting through our Privileged Partnership for Peace and Prosperity. We want to work together to support a vision of Congo that is free of corruption, where those that are corrupt are held accountable, where you have strong human rights, protections of the free press, where you have economic opportunity, lots of American investment, hopefully to create jobs and opportunity for Congolese and also for Americans. And so I see the situation now as quite optimistic.
Do you think that the freedom of the press is a reality in the Democratic Republic of Congo?
I mean,
Bluntly speaking?
Bluntly speaking, there are issues. Of course, I am troubled every time one of your colleagues, journalists, is jailed unnecessarily.
Nationwide.
Nationwide, of course, of course. I am troubled any time that any journalist is persecuted by local authorities, national authorities, and we make noise.
Yes.
We speak clearly that freedom of the press is essential for a democracy.
Yes.
I bring it up to President Tshisekedi. I bring it up to ministers, and we will continue to do so. Your job is essential. You must inform the Congolese people, the world. You ask me the tough questions. You put me on the spot. If you don't agree with me, that's okay.
Yes.
Make me answer.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yes.
That's what you do as a public servant. You respond.
Do you make yourself understood?
I hope so. It's up to you. You tell me. I try to message. I try to be on Twitter. I try to be transparent. I try to communicate. I try to answer the questions. And, it's, going to be fine if you criticize me. Well, of course, we want it to be fact-based.
Yes.
But, people that are getting investigated or that they see a report they don't like in the press can't put you in jail.
Yes.
That is not right. Yes. And that has to end. And I think there's every willingness and desire on the part of this presidency to fix these things. You are changing a long history of abuse. And now you have to strengthen those institutions.
Yes.
And hopefully, again, but I do think in freedom of the press, at least there are lots of journalists.
Yes.
There are lots of media outlets. They're trying to do their work, and I hope it'll continue to grow stronger.
Yeah, I think that professionally speaking, we still have a long way to go in the Democratic Republic of Congo when it comes to the press, the freedom of the press, and equipment, and even the training of journalists. Something must be done. Why don't you support? Not you, but the United States of America doesn't not really support.
No, we do. We have a program with Internews. No, we do. Yes. I mean, of course, we have almost $750 million of support to the DRC each and every year.
We don't see that money.
I know. I mean, not you personally, but I mean, we do support media in this country. I mean, perhaps
money as well.
Some. I mean, again, we have to spread all this money in many different areas. Health is our biggest portfolio to try to help and improve the health conditions of the Congolese people, to fight diseases like Ebola when you have outbreaks, like COVID now. Of course, you've got measles and yellow fever and malaria, but HIV/AIDS. So that health takes up a lot of money. Also, obviously, to promote economic development. We do that, and we help in other sectors, education. But yes, the press gets a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I understand your desire that we should do more to support the free press.
Absolutely.
I feel I'm supporting the free press every time we do one of these interviews.
Yeah, we were simply breaking the ice now. Let's get back to the subject.
Okay.
How do you view the bilateral relationships between the Democratic Republic of Congo and the USA?
Yeah, I don't know that we've had stronger bilateral relations in quite some time.
Yes.
We have a president, President Tshisekedi, who traveled to the United States on his first trip out of Africa to another country.
Yes.
In Washington, he was there in April of 2019. And as a result of that visit, we launched this Privileged Partnership for Peace and Prosperity. What does that mean? That means we committed to working together to fight corruption, to promote good governance, to improve human rights, to try to improve the security situation which alarms and concerns people out in the East, to work on health, to also promote American investment. Now we have AGOA. That's very important, the African Free Growth and Opportunity Act. So I think that our relations are strong.
Yes.
We have a very fluid, open, frank dialogue constantly about how we can work together to help the DRC develop and prosper, because that is in America's interest. We want a DRC that realizes its potential.
Good. You're inspiring me too much, many questions, because
that's right.
The President Tshisekedi traveled to the United States of America, but Congolese were like frustrated. They were disappointed for the fact that he was not received within the White House. He simply went to the State Department. What happened?
Yeah, no,
they are not happy.
Oh no, well, in that visit he actually.
And listen, Mike Hammer is the one who did so.
Yeah, no. I mean, he actually did visit the White House. He met with the National Security Advisor at that time. But in any case, the point being here that we in the United States, we have a very large government. I understand. I served in the White House in the Clinton administration back in the day, in the George W. Bush administration and the Obama administration. Getting a meeting with the President of the United States is difficult. And that shouldn't be the measuring stick, shall we say, of the strength of a bilateral relationship. Now, President Tshisekedi did meet President Trump at the time in New York on the UN General Assembly. So there were exchanges at that level, but there were exchanges with our Secretary of State at the time. And now already in this new administration, Vice President Kamala Harris has called President Tshisekedi, and I just delivered a letter from President Biden to President Tshisekedi.
Yes.
So already we have very high-level contacts with this new Biden administration, which wants to continue this privileged partnership and wants to continue to cooperate with the DRC.
But in economic terms, it looks like the USA doesn't do a lot in terms of helping the DRC.
I mean, you have to understand, we're trying to come out of a period where it was very difficult for American companies to invest in the DRC. We weren't very welcome, frankly.
Yes.
But you still have two big problems. Corruption, as you may know. In
corruption in Congo or in the USA?
Well, we have some corruption, certainly in the United States.
The USA as well.
Right. Of course we do. Of course we do.
Yes.
But today we're talking about Congo because I'm ambassador here.
Yes.
And that's what I see. I see that there's corruption that makes it not possible for American firms to invest. Why? Because we in the United States have a law that's called the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, which prevents American companies from participating in corruption when they are investing and doing their business abroad. So that means that they can't come here if they have to pay off on an official to get a permit or have to give somebody a bribe. They won't do it, so they're not here. But we're trying to work to fix that, to take on corruption. The other, of course, is insecurity. When there's a lot of insecurity, it scares away investors.
Absolutely.
But we have had a very major, and I think you know it, investment by General Electric last year, which we announced in February, of $1 billion that could go up to $4 billion. I held a call with over 100 American companies that are interested in coming to invest in DRC. We maybe lost a year because of COVID, because this call I made was in February of last year. COVID sort of started hitting in March, April, and then people stopped coming. But there's interest, and if this country can start moving in the right direction, taking on corruption, improving the business climate, you're going to get American investment in a big way.
Yeah, for those who think that the American Cultural Center doesn't do a lot in terms of helping Congolese people, culturally speaking, exchange of cultures between the DRC and the United States of America.
Yeah, I mean, we can always do more. And of course, I have to say, COVID has been just really unfortunate in preventing us from exchanging people. Well, we have the Kali English language program, which has touched a lot of Congolese lives.
We subcontracted, apparently.
Well, we had to. No, but it's still we still run it. We still run it, but we are running it through another company now. But the point is that you're right. We should do more. Our cultural exchanges are very important. Our international visitor exchanges, when we sent people, you participate in Yali. That's a really important program. I hope COVID moves on and allows us to resume a lot of these visits to the United States, because I want Congolese to have the American experience. And I want them to see my country, faults and all. I think most people come away liking...
Learn from the USA.
Well, they don't have to learn. They just come and see how we do things. We exchange. It's good for Americans to meet Congolese. I'm very pleased to be able to do this in English. You speak English. I would like for more Congolese to speak English. I have a really difficult time speaking French. But once you get past the language barrier, we are people. We have something in common. Our kids, what do they want? They want to live in peace. They want to have education. They want economic opportunity. That's Americans, Congolese, kids everywhere,
and we need to hand in a hand.
Well, if we work together, we can take on big challenges. The big challenges like climate change, the big challenges of war and peace. But you need to cooperate, and that's what our relationship is about. Working together as friends. We won't agree on everything, but if we can make progress, that helps the Congolese people and ultimately also helps the American people.
Thank you so much. Bluntly and bluntly, everything is under control. Everything is unequivocally under control in this program. You can see bluntly. Very good. Our guest, the ambassador, Mike Hame, is really knowledgeable about what we're talking about. As the saying goes, quote, don't teach your grandmother to suck eggs, unquote. From time immemorial, nobody has eaten omelette without breaking eggs. That's why we must polish up economic strategies in order to skyrocket. Do you have any ideas about economic development and well-being? Join us in this program. That's our motto, our slogan. Stick around as usual. We'll be back after the break. Find out. I'm back.
Bluntly.
Down on the ground.
One is you need to do everything local, even if you think globally. It means that you don't have to have a networked strategy.
Bluntly and bluntly.
Growth be considered as a panacea concerning development.
Economic growth in the Congo is on the paper, but it's not the reality.
Evidence, especially among students before graduating, you can see.
It may be strong, but people who are dealing with this, this is the problem. Or white people are not.
Bluntly, oui, Vaniseyo Mborania.
From time immemorial, nobody has eaten omelette without bringing eggs. That's why we must polish up economic strategies in order to skyrocket. Do you have any ideas about economic development and welfare? Join us in this program. Bluntly, bluntly, and bluntly. Everything is under control. Keep in touch.
Bluntly, bluntly, and bluntly.
Bluntly is well done.
Bluntly is very nice. In DRC, bluntly is an obligation. Bluntly is exciting. Bluntly is my passion.
Wherever you are, work bluntly.
Bluntly with Vanessa Yomborania.
Think to bluntly. English is the reality in DRC.
Bluntly, bluntly, and bluntly, everything is under control.
Thank you. And the following question is very simple.
Yeah.
How can you answer those things that the United States of America is no longer the superpower in the world, and China is really colonizing, you know? Excuse me for the
perfect.
term.
No.
China is moving forward.
Great question.
You're standing backwards. What's going on?
Great.
How can you answer them?
Oh, I can. Are we? You want to go live?
You have the floor.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, no, it's very simple. Look, the United States' ambition is not to be a superpower.
Yes.
We stand for certain principles, for certain ideals, for certain inherent values of democracy, liberty, and freedom, and economic opportunity.
Yes.
When I've served abroad, and I was ambassador in Chile, and I've served in other countries, in Bolivia, most people are looking not to be like that big country in Asia.
Yes.
They're looking at the United States. They see what we represent. I'm not afraid of competition.
Yes.
Put American values against Chinese values any day of the week, and I think people will gravitate towards the United States.
Yes.
They will see what our culture, our history, and what we represent.
Yes.
And that's what they want. They want businesses that are responsible, that respect the environment, that treat their workers right. And so I'm not afraid to compete, but we recognize...
But do you feel threatened by China?
It's not a threat. I mean, we are competitors.
Yes.
Yes, we are competitors.
Yes.
But we can do this in a peaceful playing field.
Yes.
We want the level playing field, but we want to recognize that together with other countries, we can take on difficult challenges. The United States, the years of when perhaps one country could do things alone are over. President Biden has been very clear. We want partnerships. We want to rely on our alliances. We want to work together. And we're going to stand up for certain values. We're going to stand up for freedom, democracy, human rights. Absolutely. That's what the United States is about. And so I think that partnership with the DRC is important. I think Congolese people tend to gravitate towards the United States. We have a lot in common. And so that's what I'm focused on. I'm not going to worry about other countries and what they're trying to do. I think at the end of the day, the United States has shown that it can be an important player on the world stage and can lead on issues of importance.
Yeah, the second segment of the program would like to focus more on the Secret Union of the Nation initiated by the President Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Chilombo. You would like to move the DRC forward, by inviting everybody around the table, people from the opposition, the civil society, and so on and so forth. That's something very good. Do you feel, are you optimistic or pessimistic about it? What's your perspective?
I don't want to be accused of interference by talking about politics in DRC. Right, no, but I mean, I feel optimistic. Yes. Look, you go through your political process. What you've seen now in the last few months is a consolidation of focus and effort among the political parties that they seem to agree with President Tshisekedi's vision of what he's trying to do, which is to bring about important reforms that improve the lives of Congolese people, that bring about strengthening of democratic institutions, electoral reform, and that's a positive. So if the creation of a sacred union helps him realize the reforms and the results that the Congolese people demand, that's a good thing. We all know previously it was blocked.
We need development here in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yes, and you have all the potential. But you can do it.
Developed country.
Absolutely. You have so much wealth in your country. If you eliminate the corruption, you can not only stand on your own, you can be a real power in Africa, in the world. You have that economic ability. You have the people potential, the power potential in terms of electricity and renewable energies. You've got it on agriculture, you've got it in minerals, but the money from that can't go into people's pockets. It has to go through proper taxes, and national treasury, and then distributed to support programs which support the Congolese people.
But what's happening? The DRC is a country potentially rich, but actually we are poor.
Right. No, it makes no sense.
It's a misery.
It makes no sense. That needs to end. I think that's what Congolese people want. They want an end to that. The United States is here to support that, to support that change. And people who serve in positions of authority can't think that those positions are to enrich themselves. It has to be public service, service for the nation. And that's what I'm hearing from today's political actors.
Actions speak louder than words. What should be done concretely?
No, I mean, we're supporting anti-corruption efforts. We're providing trainings, you know, through our Treasury Department, through our FBI, to enable the Congolese government to do proper prosecutions, investigations. But it's on the Congolese to take care of this issue.
Take things very seriously.
Well, yeah, and for the press to point out when people are corrupt, hold them accountable. When civil society sees something that's wrong, make noise. Absolutely, that's what happens in a democracy.
We still talk about the Security Union of the Nation, you know, initiated by Tshisekedi. I would like to know, many are wondering, there is nothing in terms of charter, you know, something, a written text where people can really understand the vision, what's going on. People are a little bit confused. The Security Union of the Nation is nothing for Congolese. The average Congolese, they cannot really understand what's going on.
Well, I mean, I understand it because I
talk to the president.
Well, no, I see what he says in his address to the nation. You know, I hear what I'm paying attention. Now, okay, tell the presidency maybe they need to communicate that better. That's you know, that's an internal issue for them. But I hear him talk about the fight against corruption, how that's important. I hear that he wants to provide free education for people. I hear that he wants to improve the healthcare system. I hear that he wants to do a better election in 2023. These are all good things. But yeah, I mean, if it's a communication issue, talk to your friends at the presidency. There's a new director of communications. Maybe he needs to put in his agenda.
Absolutely.
Let the people know. But I hear it, I follow it.
In Congo, people think that, mostly in Kinshasa, people think that Mike Hamid, the American ambassador, is too close to the president. Is really there is they are intertwined. You know, Tshisekedi and Mike Hamid. What's going on? What's the secret?
No, I mean, look, there's no secret. You see it on Twitter. When I see him and when I talk to him, I make it public.
You can meet him anytime.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there are other ambassadors, other people. He has meetings. Maybe they don't put it on Twitter. No, I mean, we have a good relationship, but that relationship is built on common values, common interests, things that he sees are important for the DRC that the United States can help and support with. And that's what that relationship is about. And so, but I don't only see him. People don't make as much noise when I go and meet other ministers or when I travel around the country and meet with provincial authorities. But I want to understand this country. I want to see how the United States can contribute to Congo's development. We give more than $700 million in assistance every year. That is to help people survive. You have humanitarian crisis, you have health issues. We need to reverse that so that you are able to take care of the Congolese people yourselves, and that's what we want to do. We want to empower Congolese to take care of their problems.
Now a specific question. Do you really think that Tshisekedi has definitely got rid of Kabila regime?
Well, look, that's a question.
Is still there powerful?
Look, that's really a question for the Congolese to assess, right? The issue is not important about personalities. The issue is, can President Tshisekedi really change a mentality of corruption that existed prior to him coming to office? Can he make sure that people who are in government are not putting money in their own pockets but are serving the Congolese people? That's the challenge. It's not about specific individuals. It's about the vision that he has for the future, and that's what we want to support. Make strong institutions, democratic institutions, independent judiciary that works. And only that way will you make it possible to then bring the change that he wants to realize, the change the Congolese people voted for, and the results that they want to see in their everyday lives.
And for those who think that both Kabila and Tshisekedi have failed, and if you have to choose, who is the lesser of two evils between Kabila and Tshisekedi?
Look, I'm not going to talk about leaders in that way. I can tell you that we have an excellent relationship with President Tshisekedi now.
Yes.
And it's based, again, on mutual interest.
But
on
you didn't have good relationship with Kabila.
We did not. He didn't want a good relationship with the United States. Ask him next time you see him.
Yeah,
say, why didn't you pursue a better relationship with the United States? He chose to have a better relationship with other countries. That's his choice. Yes. Maybe it was a loss for the DRC. Yes. I don't know. That's for the Congolese people to decide. But I think a good, positive relationship between the United States and DRC is beneficial to both countries.
Do you think that Kabila can come back to power one day?
I mean, if there are
Is it possible?
Anything is possible in politics, right? And you know, you have free and fair elections. That's what's most important, that they be credible, and that anybody who participates within the constitutional framework should be able to run. And if they get the majority of votes, then perhaps they return. Yeah.
Now let's focus a little bit on peace in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo, mostly in Ituri. You know, the countless problems. And remember, very recently, the Italian ambassador was assassinated by armed groups.
Yeah.
What happened, and what should be done to get rid of armed groups? Armed conflict in the eastern part of the DRC.
No, it's a real tragedy. One of my colleagues, a good friend, was assassinated along with a carabinieri and a Congolese colleague, member of the World Food Program, and I express my condolences to them and their families. But this is the daily suffering that so many people in Eastern Congo face. I've visited Beni many times. I've been to Bunia. I've been to the Haut Plateau. There has to be something that is done. We all agree to address the armed groups. Of course, MONUSCO.
Don't you send Marines here?
That's not the answer. That's not the answer. No, I mean, in essence, you have a MONUSCO peacekeeping force that has its mandate to protect civilians and to try to promote peace. And we have, through the United Nations, supported a more active mandate to go after armed groups. But really, let's understand the nature of the problem. It's not a military solution. It goes back to what we're talking about.
What's the nature of the problem?
Corruption.
Corruption.
Illegal economic activity. Who is exploiting those mineral resources? What Congolese politicians or business people are involved in that, who support the armed groups,
in
who then go and kill people?
You are saying, people think in Congo that the international community and the USA as well are meddling.
We're not. We're not. We barely have any U.S. businesses in Congo right now.
No meddling here?
Absolutely not. We are supporting. I mean, it's so clear. If you look at it objectively, you'll see we have one alphamine company that's working in Walikali and doing aluminum very, very successfully and working well with the communities. We don't have much business interest in the East. Look at it. Analyze it. When you travel, and I go to Goma, and I go to Beni, and I go to Bunia, and Butembo, you know what they say? It's the politicians there that are involved with some of these armed groups. It's people in the FRDC who support some of the armed groups or get money from them. It's a Congolese problem. It's not right to blame the international community. We're not supposed to come in and fix the problem for Congo. Now, we want to support Congo.
People are dying.
They are.
What should be done?
What should be done?
To put an end to this war. Are you sure that armed conflicts can come to an end in the eastern part of the DRC one day?
Absolutely, we need to work on that. Absolutely, it's possible. But what needs to happen is the Congolese out there need to expose these corrupt individuals, hold them accountable. That's how you start bringing an end to these armed groups. Most of these armed groups, they're a bunch of, of thugs, as we would say in the United States. They're only there to support somebody's personal economic interest. There are some political groups. There's the ADF, which has ties to ISIS, which is a different nature.
In Congo, politicians don't abide by the law.
Well,
why?
You tell me. You're Congolese, right? No, I mean, because there's no tradition of doing that, right? And that has to change. That's exactly the nature of the problem. Authority is not meant to make yourself rich. Authority is meant to serve people.
Give back to the community.
Well, that's what people are supposed to be elected for, to give back to the community, not for themselves. And that's something that needs to happen, but people need to demand it. And I give a lot of credit to groups like Lucha and others, activists who go out there, risk their lives to make you need to, and we will always speak out when they're illegally arrested for peaceful demonstrations and hold the authorities to account. That must happen. And we, the United States, I mean, this, we sanction people that are corrupt, that are involved in disrupting the democratic process. And we will continue to do that. But it shouldn't be the United States doing that. It should be the Congolese legal system that prosecutes and convicts those that are responsible for these crimes.
Thank you so much. Bluntly, and bluntly. Everything is under control. I'm really thrilled today's Bluntly. It's very, very interesting. You know, this is very important. Prepare yourself because English TV broadcasts have become compulsory on television. Additionally to Bluntly, you are watching. We do have another vitally important called newscast. Newscast is also a golden opportunity to express yourself without impediment. Stick around as usual. We'll be back after the break. Find out.
From now on, English program has become mandatory on television.
Watch newscast and you will be knowledgeable.
Newscast with Anissé Yomborania.
Last Friday, any warning of Congolese president set a particular emphasis on the implementation of outlines of
Newscast with Anissé Yomborania.
Thanks for watching and goodbye from Kinshasa. Keep in touch.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now the last segment of our interview. We would like to focus on polls in 2023.
Yeah.
And the people are really a little bit skeptical because they think that there isn't money. The central bank, politicians are really embezzling everything. There is no longer money. And are you sure that in 2023 Congolese will hold polls?
Well, that's again another Congolese issue that's important.
Yeah.
There's every expectation that elections will and should happen on December 23rd of 2023, as has been planned. And I think what is important is that the entire body politic and civil society and the Congolese people demand that this happen in a way that is transparent and credible and reflects the true will of the Congolese people. And the United States, along with many other countries, are prepared to support that process and certainly to hold a good election, a better election in 2023 than in 2018. And that's the goal. Democracies aren't perfect. No democracy is really perfect. You need to be striving to do better. But I do think that there's every intention, it seems to me, to go forward with these elections on time, and that's the expectation certainly of the United States, and I think the broader international community and the Congolese people, which is the real important issue. It's what the Congolese people want.
Yeah, election cannot take place without a good economic environment, and there is a problem here because the business climate doesn't work properly in the DRC. There is a problem over there, and I don't know, this is a question which is a little bit complicated. In Kinshasa, people think that the head of state, Tshisekedi, will not move forward because he's surrounded by his friends and his brothers, his friends from, the Congolese diaspora. That's the problem. And he's not really respected at the presidency. Excuse me to ask that question. Why don't you advise him properly to change?
It's not for me to advise him. I mean,
tell him to change his cabinet and appoint new Congolese.
Well, he's making decisions. If he feels he's not being well served by his advisors or his cabinet, then I'm sure he'll make changes. But it's not for me to tell him who should be around him. I mean, I only listen to really what he has to say as the president of the country. I've heard him say that he's committed to having an election in 2023, as is mandated by the Constitution, that he wants to make sure that there are proper reforms in place to make sure that this next election is better than the last one. And the United States is in a supporting role. Again, we saw earlier this week there was some criticism that came out of the presidential palace of a statement that Senko made about the elections. I believe that individual was not speaking, from what I understand, on behalf of the president. He may not even be working there anymore. There was a change in communication. So obviously the president takes this seriously. If somebody misspeaks or doesn't represent him properly, then he'll take action. But that's really a Congolese matter. It's for him to decide. So again, we are here as a partner to help the Congolese realize their potential, to deepen our friendship, which I think is strong. I see that there's a lot of Congolese interest and love for America, which I appreciate, which they express to me. And I love the DRC and want to see nothing better than those beautiful children that I meet everywhere have a better future. And that's what we're working on, to give them an opportunity.
Mr. Ambassador Mike Hame, in spite of, countless criticism, but you have been playing a significant role here. And people think that if you were not there, Tshisekedi wouldn't, succeed. You have done a nice job, even though you do not recognize it publicly. And I think you should help more, again and again.
Yeah, well, I would say that...
Yes, without being afraid of anyone.
No, well, I'm certainly not afraid, and I notice that those that criticize me tend to be people that are involved in the ancien regime that don't seem to want there to be progress on fighting corruption, or who are nervous about strong democratic institutions and that will take their ill-gotten gains away from them. But look, I'll do my role as a U.S. ambassador to be a partner to President Tshisekedi, to the government, to the Congolese people, and I'm sure there's always going to be some criticism, and I accept that. I don't mind discussing it. I'm happy to talk about issues and U.S. positions anytime, and to meet with my friends in the press and to promote press freedom and human rights. And so, I'll do my job as I see is important. And again, I appreciate that people care about what the United States has to say about some of these issues, and I hope many people will continue to have these conversations on Twitter as long as it's respectful. No need for insults or and to use rude language. Let's have a dialogue. Again, I don't expect everybody's going to agree with me as the United States ambassador. That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, let's talk about health when it comes to COVID-19. And this pandemic still kills a lot in Western countries than in Africa. What happened? What's going on?
Well, I mean, look, I think part of it is demographics. Obviously, in Western countries, we have people that are older, sometimes that are in not great health, in elderly stages, more overweight people, frankly, and COVID has hit us harder. I'm thankful that it hasn't affected Africa as harshly as other parts of the world, but we still must be careful. We still must be doing everything we can, wearing our masks, washing our hands, keeping our distance. And taking the vaccine when it comes. It's just important to do that. Thank goodness that Africa has not experienced it, or that DRC has not felt it. You have been plagued by other diseases, and people die every day from multiple things. Whether it's, again, we're talking about, Ebola is now again back. You have questions, with malaria and measles and HIV/AIDS, and you're making progress. But with COVID, the entire world has been affected, and we all need to do our part to ensure that this pandemic is brought to a halt, and I think that vaccines will do that, and we just got to give it time. As more and more people get vaccinated, we'll bring this under control.
Yeah, people are still really scared of this pandemic, and it looks like we are at a standstill, like the world, the end of the world. Do you think that it's possible to eradicate?
Well, I mean, COVID will probably become like other diseases, like the flus that we get every year. Possibly. I mean, but again, once we have now a number of very effective vaccines, once enough people have been vaccinated, this will become just another disease that we unfortunately have to deal with, and we won't have the same fright and terror that's been killing so many people. In my country, we've lost more than 500,000 people.
Too many Americans.
Too many.
And you traveled when the situation was really dark.
Yes, I went to the United States.
Were you afraid?
No, I mean, I wanted to see my family. I mean, I needed to go home and have a rest a little bit. I mean, I try to take all the proper precautions, of course, and I hope everybody else does. But it does concern me. I've had many friends who have gotten COVID. I lost an uncle in Spain. My mother's from Spain. We didn't know it at the time, but he died rather suddenly, and we later found out it was COVID. So it affects us personally. We have to take it seriously. And I hope here in the DRC, the measures that the government has put in place seem to have kept it under control. I see that you've just received a shipment of vaccines. I hope people will take that opportunity. Of course, it's voluntary, and hopefully that'll keep from losing loved ones, because it is tragic. It is a horrible disease.
In Africa in general, and in the Democratic Republic of Congo in particular, it looks like there is a communication shortfall about the COVID-19. People are skeptical to the vaccine. What should be done? People don't communicate to tell the population
I mean,
that's something good for them.
Well, there's a history of mistrust of vaccines, but we've had very successful vaccines against smallpox, against
the government doesn't communicate a lot on that.
Well, it's important, and again, You know, we are used to getting vaccinated in the United States. We trust our medical authorities that what they're telling us is safe is in fact safe. There's very rigorous research and testing that is done before these vaccines are deployed. You know, for example, vaccines are helping to prevent Ebola. We now have treatments that help people recover. Even now in Butembo, several of the people that got Ebola are leaving as survivors. This is important. That's progress. That's medical progress. So we have to trust the medical experts that they're developing vaccine and treatments that help us. And so that's a basic issue of trust. I hope the Congolese people will trust their health authorities. If they say this is fine to do, that they should do it. Again, that's what we try to do. And really, in every country, people have to make decisions about their health. But be given opportunity of something that might save their lives, well, then I would think you want to make sure that you take advantage of it.
Yeah, thank you. We're drawing, slowly but surely to the end of this program. Now, I would like to talk about, the ambassador, Mike Hame, the renowned ambassador in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And a small question. You have a new name in Congo, an American. You are called Nzita. Talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, well,
Nzita.
Look,
are you Nzita?
I am Nzita. I am. I have become Nzita. But that is because I had been here for a few months, and on Twitter, a Congolese sent a suggestion. Why don't you take a Congolese name? Right? And I said, oh, that's an interesting idea.
And
I asked
how
people.
Did you choose that one?
Well, this is interesting. So then we did a little Twitter poll, and I asked, and people submitted hundreds of different names. But the first one was Nzita, and in honor of the first person who suggested a name, I took that one. I chose it. I liked it.
From which province?
It's from Bakongo. Bakongo. It's in Lingala.
And what does it mean?
Well, I don't know if it has a real meaning, right? I mean, I was just talking to somebody at an event yesterday for International Women's Day, and go women, that's great. He was telling me that he is from Bakongo, and his family name is Nzita. And I asked him, does it have a name? It doesn't necessarily have a name, significance, but it's from that region. And I wanted to pay respect to the cultural diversity of the DRC. So even when I traveled to the east, then I took a Swahili name in Amani, which represents peace, because that's kind of what we want to see in the east. And when I traveled then to the Kasais, I took on Tekemena, which means espoir or hope. And also when I went to Equateur, it was Elikia. But Nzita is what caught on, and people have begun to use it with me, and I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, no, it's a fun thing. No, well,
why are you too close to Congolese people?
I love Congolese people. They're wonderful. They have received me so well. They're warm. They're enthusiastic, energetic. They approach me. They want to talk. They want friendship. You know, what's not to love? And so it's special now that I've been here 2.5 years to have gotten to know a number of Congolese and to see their enthusiasm. And I love the food. You know, people know that I like poulet mayo. And to be in opportunities to meet more Congolese when I travel around the country. I'm not the ambassador to Kinshasa. I'm the ambassador to the whole country. To hear about it. And that's what I think the role of an ambassador is, to know the country that you are assigned to.
Don't you think that you do too much? No.
Well, I enjoy my job, right? No, I mean, am I going to stay in my office all day? No, I'm not going to stay in my office all day. That's I think what an American ambassador does is
that's the freedom.
He or she goes out and meets people at all levels, from the poorest to the wealthiest, from the least powerful to the most powerful. Whether it's journalists, academics, whether it's business people, politicians, to understand the country. And there's no better way to get to know a country than to travel and to go and meet people at villages, at different places. And so I think the only big difference is I put the things up on Twitter because I'm pretty transparent.
Good. And through many digital platforms, Mike Hame is visible everywhere. And there is something else people really like. It's chicken with mayonnaise. Poulet mayo.
Poulet mayo.
And you like it?
I do.
Is it delicious?
I find it delicious. Absolutely. I mean, a Congolese friend took me to eat it, and I thought it was great. And then I understood that people get together in groups, large groups, and share. It's a nice meal, and that kind of became my thing. So we did a special, where we invited some people over for poulet mayo. I hope to do it again with some of your viewers in the future. But it's a nice way to interact, and again, I find food connects people. And you know, when I travel and I try the different dishes,
kwanga.
Well, I don't know if I'm brave enough, right? You know, but you know, where I've lived in different countries, I like to try the local foods, and it turned out that poulet mayo was something.
And you have got used to all of that.
Well, I mean, you try. I like some things. I don't like everything. I mean, you can tell I like to eat, right? No, I mean, but you know, that's not a problem. You know, and again, what the idea, and that's what's been so difficult with COVID, is the ability to share a meal with somebody. You connect. You talk about things. You see that you have common interests, common values. You talk about your family. You talk about what you want in life, and that's important. And
today, you even know Congo better than many Congolese. And you are even renowned, even many celebrities here in Congo. That's something wonderful.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that when I go and talk to the chef coutumier, or I talk to women in a village and I hear about their issues, their problems, I get to understand the country. And then you have a beautiful, spectacular country. Incredible nature, incredible fauna that's worth, I wish the whole world could see it. And that's why, you know, you need to sort of bring the security situation under control so people could come and really enjoy everything that Congo has to offer.
What do you like the most in this country?
The people. The people. No, they're wonderful. No, they all are interested in politics. Everybody, no matter who you talk to, will have their opinions about what they'd like to see and what are their concerns, and are interested in the United States and in talking to me. So it's that human interaction, you know, where you see the commonality of people, and that's what diplomats do. They're supposed to get to know the people. They're supposed to understand.
If you had to be born again, where would you like to be born?
Oh my goodness. You know, my mother from Spain would strangle me if I said anything other than Spain, right? Yeah, I'm American. I have to say Spain, but Congo's pretty close.
The last two questions we have to end this program. Is there any specific things between the DRC and the Congo you'd like to talk about, or a specific thing you have forgotten about?
No, I mean, I think this has been a great interview, and we spoke bluntly. No, but I think the main thing I want Congolese to feel is what I feel, that I think many of them do. There is hope. There's an opportunity for change. And rarely in a country's history do these things come together where you can see that it is possible. And I hear this now from so many people. They see there's an opportunity to move forward. It requires hard work. You know, fighting corruption, which we have in all our countries.
Anti-values, too many anti-values.
And that has to be something that everybody works on, and to try to ensure that the wealth and richness of this country is shared by the Congolese people, not by a few individuals. And that's a struggle. You know, I understand it, and I hope people will see that that's the motivation and intent of the United States is to help Congo be a nation that is developed, that is delivering for its people. You know, the United States, you know, look at it pragmatically. Do we want to be investing or sending $700 million of money every year just to help people survive? No. Not in a rich country.
Take care of themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Give them the tools, the ability to take care of themselves because they're fully capable of it. You know, that's what I see. When I go everywhere, there's somebody who has their small business who are trying to make an honest living to help their family, to help their children. It's beautiful. And you can see the smiles on the children, and that's such motivation. Let's do something for them. Let's work together to improve their lives.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bluntly, and bluntly. Everything is under control. Everything is definitely under control. Program. I'm very happy. I'm really glad, you know, for receiving the American ambassador on a Bluntly program. Bluntly is the only Congolese broadcast where you can find joy, hope, and inspiration for a better future. Bluntly is doubtless reaching the cruising altitude. All is well, that ends well. Thanks for watching and goodbye from Kinshasa. We are in the Democratic Republic of Congo. All the best and keep in touch. Thank you. Thank you so much. Keep in touch. Next time. Goodbye. I'm back!
Bluntly.
Down on the ground.
One is you need to do everything local, even if you think globally. It means that you don't have to have a networked strategy.
Bluntly, and bluntly.
Growth be considered as a panacea concerning development.
Economic growth in the Congo is on the paper, but it's not the reality.
Evidence, especially among students before graduating, you can see.
It may be strong, but people who are dealing with this, this is the problem. Or right people are not.
Bluntly, oui, Vanessa Yombrania.
From time immemorial, nobody has eaten omelette without bringing eggs. That's why we must polish up economic strategies in order to skyrocket. Do you have any ideas about economic development and welfare? Join us in this program. Bluntly, bluntly, and bluntly. Everything is under control. Keep in touch.
Bluntly, bluntly, and bluntly.
Bluntly is well done.
Bluntly is very nice. In DRC, bluntly is an obligation. Bluntly is exciting. Bluntly is my passion.
Wherever you are, write bluntly.
Bluntly with Anissa Yombrania.
Sing to bluntly. English is the reality in DRC.
Bluntly, bluntly, and bluntly, everything is under control.